And game aspects, right? So do you, I think as a really oldest player, I think I've ever spoken, as you said, 2 weeks from the time that the game started. Do you think there is still life in this game or people quitting? What do you see?
People are quitting. Yes. I don't know if you know this or not. A bunch of us bigs got like a liaison from Ember. Basically, his name is Mike. Believe it or not, where we can shoot him an email with questions and concerns and like leader questions and anything complaints. Like I got locked out of my account a month ago and I just couldn't get into like it wouldn't load. I shot him an email and within like 20 minutes it was fixed. I think there's life still in the game. I think the problem is as those, I've had a big coalition. I'm not going to lie. I've been in charge of a big, 9 alliances. Here we go, right?
Yep.
Rock the hate tag, rock all this stuff. That's the issue with the game, though, because Ember set it up. We like to break what Ember sets up, and nobody believes me, but we do. We love to break whatever Ember sets up. Ember set up these 3 regions for us to all war out in and fight out in and do whatever in. And then they set up these other regions for new players to join. Well, what most of us have done is most people have put shell alliances in those new regions trying to recruit. So you'll pull somebody from 26 into 30 or 31 or 29, and they got a third of the research done. You know what I mean? They don't even have the normal research done. And then they run across the player who's done everything, and then they get zeroed from a bill down to, we zeroed a dude who was $1 billion to like 100 mil. 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Like that, so it's, the players and the politics is what chokes the game, but Ember's making changes. The last update I got from him, I told the dude Mike that we need to be able to get rid of the DNA power because that's going to change the scope of the board.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if true power was out there, you wouldn't see a 40 bill player with 5 bill worth of troops. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You wouldn't see that. That changes the scope. If that alliance loses that much, alliance lose 35 bill in power, and it's really, oh wow, that alliance is actually 100 bill, not 300 bill, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It'll balance out the boards, and some of them are little alliances that have those players that are hanging on by the thread, that are just tired, and they'll look up on the board and say, wow, we're not that far away. We're not that far away at all in these guys. We got this. I think the game's fine. I think with some changes, some little tweaks here and there, like more infected cold spots. I'm glad they upped the gold when winning events. Like I really am. That helps out a lot of players. The infected tiles help out a lot of players. It's just for the players that buy, that do spend the $100 on packs. It's what you do with that. You know what I mean? Like if you're just buying for that insta fill right then and there to reheal and go hit, well then, you're going to burn out because that's going to cost you $100 every weekend.
Yep.
But for the players that are smart, that are like, okay, well, I got to heal. I'll set the timer today on a Monday. I can be a farm until Saturday. Saturday at 11 is gain power. Boom, rock and roll, go. It's still got life though. They're changing things, adding things.
That makes sense, yeah. And you covered a little bit on the changes that you want Ember to make on the DNA power being gone, and also about the other stuff. But is there, on top of that, do you have any enhancement you'd like Ember to make, and also something that you really hate in the game that you want Ember to remove?
Okay, so what I hate, like despise above everything else in the game, besides the meat wall. Like I really hate the meat wall, but that's the play style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate the fact that the servers are so laggy still.
Yeah.
Like are just so you can't. It's dangerous for you to hit zero. Like, so say I want to go zero player A, you know what I mean? And I poured in on player A's hive. Well, I'm at it exposed because my leaders are out and my hero's out. Well, they should hit and come back, not hit and have a siesta and have a smoke break and then come back. That's what I hate the most. The enhancements, I think what would go long is legacy is what keeps the game going. Like if you look at this SLC and UN war, like really, like, and I listened to Looney's interview and I listened to Scully's interview, I think it is. If you listen to it, it's history. History dictates all. You need a legacy system. Like I proposed to Ember through the email system, like, hey, showing where these players came from. Like, what's your original region? You know what I mean? Like, like they do it in other video games, console and computer games, that they let players like, hey, you were in region 1, then you went to region 15. Like, legacy keeps players going because you never know when you're that big that just got zeroed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and you're getting ready to say, screw it, I'm going to slot my famines, and this become somebody's farm, and then you look and you say, oh, wow, I've been playing since day one. What am I doing? Okay, I got this. This is nothing. This isn't a big deal. And to be able to trade infected leaders among cities or ship DNA, man, the DNA is the biggest issue with me. Like, I'm not going to lie. I hate DNA. I despise it because you lose track of what you're hitting because your power's going up, number one. Number two, it gives them floated numbers. So, like, if a big alliance is knocking on your door and is being, you know what I mean, is doing the typical, I'm the biggest in the realm at 500 bill, 600 bill, but it's because they got 7 DNA banks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, then that little alliance out there that's going to play the cap game, they can't show their members, hey, we're actually winning this. Like, we've actually killed more of their troops, but they can't show that because the DNA hides it. And the kill boards. I want the kill boards to link because I ported regions. I lost all my points.
Yep.
Like, I lost a decent. Then I came back to 31, hit some more things, and then went back to 30 because we had alliances leave, and I had to fix that. You know, you can't start a war in 31 and then leave.
Yeah.
So you lose those kill points, and those kill points are what people use nowadays to say, oh, you don't hit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do anything, stuff like that. Well, I actually do hit, but I've hit in other regions too, and none of them was linked. You know what I mean? Like, I think Jawbone had like some dumb amount in 29, and then he went to 31, and he's starting all over. You know, that's not right.
Yeah, I think that's why I think what an enhancement that I recommended by email to Ember is a player should be able to choose their home region. So whenever they go visit and come back, the home region points will always be secured. So they don't have to track the visiting region points, but at least the home region points should be, you know, or you can also have an accumulated points in the bracket. Overall in the game, how much did you make in terms of hit points? It doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you go hit, it kind of accumulates. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and then my last thing on it is this is supposed to be an infected zombie war game. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally you know what I'm saying? It's Empire Z zombie war. I think the guys that hit infected tiles, all they do is get their name up on a thing. They don't get no gifts from that. You don't get a weekly, oh, you hit the most tiles. If you see what the weekly, you know, the weekly gift they give, I know it's not a big amount.
No.
If you murder troops, you know what I mean? Like, and you win the kill board, you get nothing compared to if you're number one for power game.
Yep.
So now you're turning it into a power game when it should be hey, you did the most in the game, the aspects of the game. You killed the most zombies. You built the most, you know what I mean? It should be an overall, hey, this is what you did. These are your point system.
So we are coming to kind of close to the end of the interview. Just before that, I would like to hear from you some general tips that you want to give to the newer players. Since you talked about them with the new regions, they might port into the 3 bigger regions. I would like to hear from you any general tips to the new players.
Yeah, do your research. Research is key. Yeah, research is boring. I got it. Nobody wants to do a 10-week timer on demo defense, but if you don't do your demo defense, your piercers don't work. Stay out of the blood feuds. Like, some of these blood feuds go back to the stone, like the beginning of the game, like the Revelations and Death Proof one. If you're a new player, you got no business sticking your nose in there. You got Bob who hits, and you got Storm and all of Revelations and all that who just looking to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, just play the game and then finally have fun. Like, fun is key. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Makes sense. And we are coming to close of this interview. I really thank you for your time. And before we really conclude, any final thoughts that you want to register?
Yeah, it's a game of Empire Z's political. It's very political. Trust me. I've been in 1,000 line rooms. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come side with us, side with that. Like I said in the beginning, 31's my home, and that's where I keep my nose at. You know, like, Rise is there, I'm cool with them. Pair is there, they're cool. And have fun and make friends, because you never know, even when you're fighting somebody. Like, I was fighting Fight Club, and me and Doc Holliday go back to the beginning of the game. You know?
Yep.
Don't take it personal. Nothing's personal. Just have fun.
Sounds good. And I really thank you for this interview. I learned a lot, to be honest, with this interview, and I hope the rest of the viewers are also learning a lot from these interviews. And I wish you all the best for your game and as well as your personal life. And I also want to do another interview down the line after 3 or 4 months. We'll see how the game changes, and then I want to hear from you, because it's again the phased manner, right? So every 3 months or 4 months, the gameplay changes, the people change. So we'll do it again. And thanks again, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you.